Seconds before 17-year-old Trayvon Martin was killed just yards from his house by George Zimmerman, a neighborhood watch volunteer, these call logs obtained by ABC News show he was...
What's going on? It's Baby Sharn, CEO and artist on Circular Success, hip-hop artist based out of Washington, D.C. Initially, when I first heard about it, it was kind of like another one, like, really this happening again. So I was never really surprised about it, but as I've continued to follow the story and watch the news and talk to peers and read articles and just I guess indulge myself in the case, I've gotten a anger has boiled up, I guess I should say. And it's to a point where it's just like I've gotten mad as an artist. I've gotten mad at a lot of my fellow artists in the DMV specifically. Just because, and I spoke on this on Facebook and on my website, but I mean, I just feel like it's a lot of artists out here who, you know, they call themselves the king of this and the mayor of this and the boss of this, but it's like when it's time to actually do what's expected as a king or of a mayor or of a boss, which is to actually show some leadership and you know, create new policies or figure out a way to do things when the current way isn't working. I just don't feel like, you know, people use their talent and their music to address the things that are actually like taking our communities by storm. This case in particular, it's just blatantly, it's just a blatant injustice. I highly feel that it's racial profiling at its finest. There's no way that you can take that away from it, from the tapes, whether they were distorted or not. You can hear him referring to Trayvon Martin as them or they, or as they say he didn't say nigger, but who knows, you know. But and then just coming from his history, which has been told to us that he has a history of targeting African Americans from his colleagues and things like that. These people have no reason to lie. I feel like, you know, the Sanford police probably didn't expect this to gain this national attention, and they thought it would be something, you know, another one that they could just sweep under the rug and keep going. But somebody heard about it and someone, you know, spoke out about it, and I feel like a lot of people, not just our race, a lot of people have collectively come together to bring national attention to this, and I feel like justice has not been served, and I don't know that it will be, but I just feel like for a 17-year-old boy who had his whole entire life in front of him to, he's now laying in a grave. A mother is without a son, a father is without a son, they're without a cousin, or a girl is without her boyfriend, you know, and as it has been around for years, but someone's life is gone, and this is not a time to make jokes or partake in any coarse jokes about it. I don't find it funny. I don't think it's a situation that should be played with, and I just feel like if everyone was to put themselves in the shoes of Trayvon Martin or in the shoes of his mother or his father, you know, you have to find it in yourself to have that same compassion that you would want. In DC, you can holler at me on Twitter at Baby Sharn. That's BabySharn. Babysharn.com, bsharn.bandcamp.
Yo. Okay. These assholes, they always get away.
DJ Soyo. I live in DC. I'm originally from El Paso, Texas. I'm a mother, a friend, a sister, a daughter. Hip hop hit me very hard. There's no rhyme and reason to it, so it makes it that much harder. I think everybody's been trying to find some kind of reason behind somebody like him dying, because when you see what he was doing, it was so simple. It's just something that we all do all the time. Want to get some candy for wearing a hoodie, for getting shot because he looks suspicious. It's just ridiculous. Whenever there's an accidental shooting, it seems to always be black man or brown man. They're getting accidentally shot or killed. You know, like, I can understand accidents happen. That's true. But when you start looking at statistics, it's crazy that it's always the same situation because somebody looks suspicious. You even have cops shooting cops because they thought the black cop looked suspicious. So it has to be. It's racial. And people are trying to act like it's not racial, and it is racial. Until we really talk about it, it's not going to get fixed. It is racial. The black men are getting killed.
You know, originally from Mexico. Does Zimmerman to you look Hispanic or Latino when you, when they were saying that he may be that?
Well, I didn't really think he was just from the name alone. So I didn't, when I saw his picture, I mean, there are a lot of white Latinos, which is a whole other problem in Latin America, that a lot of Latinos don't consider themselves brown or Latino or Hispanic. They consider themselves white. And that comes from being racial again. It's just one of those dividing factors in our communities. People embrace their vision at all. Needs to be really serious. There's kids dying. Too many. All the time. We need to change that. Again, I don't know how, but I know I'm gonna try. Y-O. You can go to my website, djsoyo.com. Email djsoyo@djsoyo.com. Twitter, DJ SOYO, just spelled out the letters. And Google me, whatever. Email me if you have any questions, opinions.
But my main message is to the parents of Trayvon Martin. You know, if I had a son, he'd look like Trayvon.
Name's Eddie Bryant, comedian from Washington, D.C. Trayvon Martin. It's an unfortunate situation that, again, is another example of what life is like sometime to be a black man in America throughout our history even being here, since the colonization of this country. So, like, here it is, you got a 17-year-old kid walking home from the store in the rain. You use your hood to cover you from the rain. He's on the phone talking to his girl, eating Skittles, having iced tea, and you know, he got a vigilante, so to speak, out on the street, shot him down. It's just not cool at all. I do think it's race-based, only in the sense that upon hearing the phone calls that they playing on CNN, media outlets and stuff like that, he used a racial slur to describe the young man. So that's where I think his intent, his mindset was. Pretty much based on the assumption that this young guy, menace, and that's the perception that the world has of black men based on the images and stuff that is portrayed. Not necessarily listening to, if you get a chance to talk to black men, once they talk to us, they realize a lot of us aren't like what they see on TV or what they may read in the newspaper. I got a lot of good friends, white, black, doesn't matter, but I get to know who they are, not who I think they are, what they may be, how they all are. You can't group us like that. If something isn't done about Trayvon Martin, there's going to be a a generation of kids that feel even. Can I cuss on this or no? This is not okay. They're not gonna give a fuck. Even more so than the generation that's here. They, I saw in a documentary, Tupac was like this. He said, we were asking during the civil rights movement. We were asking, please give me food, give me all that stuff. He said, so now, are we supposed to continue to ask for the right to be treated as human beings, or are we going to, do what's being done to us? Are we to hunt and protect ourselves at all costs? When we're being hunted, and we're tired of the discrimination and a lot of the bullshit that goes on in this country just because of the color of our skin. That's some stuff that you guys, the racist people, you guys got to deal with that. You know what I mean? Because we have the right to be even more mad at you guys, and we're not exercising that right. The point where we get mad enough to exercise that right, and become vengeful over somebody that's, over a community that's wronging us, it could get real crazy. Real crazy. Inside jokes, and I did a bit about, just touching the surface about how I felt about the whole situation, because it's like, Casey Anthony's free. She rode around with the baby in the trunk, and they had all of this and all of this and all of that, and she gets off. Kids dead, and I happen to be watching the verdict being read on that case at a daycare center, and when they was like not guilty, all the kids was like, shit, pick these toys up. Right? So it's not funny when it comes to Trayvon's case, because we're still in the healing stages. But it is funny to see what these white people fear about us. It's very funny, you know what I mean? They scared of us in a hoodie. They scared of us, Geraldo, you guys gotta change. They want us to change our wardrobe, and change our hair, with cornrows, just to make them feel comfortable. Do we go back to Africa? Or do what the Indians did and try to get some sort of reparations for, our enslavement? Because they're not gonna give it to us. You believe that? So you can sit here and go with it, or you can fight. Eddie Bryant, comedian. Catch me on Twitter, Eddie Comedian on Twitter. ComedianEddieBryant.com. Look out for your boy. I can wear my hoodie every day too. So, on that.
Violent act that resulted in the murder of Trayvon Martin is repeated in the streets of our nation. I applaud the young people all across the land who are making a statement about hoodies, about the real hoodlums in this nation, particularly those who tread on our laws, wearing official or quasi-official clothes. Racial profiling has to stop, Mr. Speaker. Just because someone wears a hoodie does not make them a hoodlum. The Bible teaches us, Mr. Speaker, in the book of Micah 6:6-8,
the member will suspend.
These words,
the member will.
These words. He has shown you, O man,
the member will
what is
suspend.
good,
The chair must remind
what does
members of
what does the
Clause 5
Lord
of Rule
require of
17,
you, but to do
members without
justly,
order.
and to love mercy, and to walk humbly with your God. And in the New Testament, Luke 4:18-20 teaches us these words. The Spirit of the Lord is upon me, because He has anointed me to proclaim the good news to the poor. He has sent me to proclaim freedom for the prisoners and the recovery of sight to the blind, to set the oppressed free. I urge all who hear these words to heed these lessons. May God bless Trayvon Martin's soul, his family.
The member is no longer recognized.